Guys, my vision board came true again. But before we dive into my vision board, I want to stop and ask you, are you thinking that your last year of goals were just another year of meaningless words and they didn't really come true? I want to ask you, are you perhaps looking at them in the wrong way? Could it actually be like one of those optical illusions? And if you just shifted your perspective, you could actually see the blessings in the last year. And perhaps you could even see in this year's shortcomings, those were just setbacks to set you up for success. Turn to your neighbor and say amen. So as I share my vision board with you, I'm going to be sharing a crucial tool to turning your dreams into reality, which is radical acceptance along the way. And I'm hoping that that can help you look at your own vision board with more grace, more pride, and more gratitude. So let's jump right in. All right, so I'm going to put closer pictures up on the screen, but let's start off with the center. So the way that I typically do my vision boards, I have my word of the year, or at least the last couple of years. Maybe this is the third year. I've been doing vision boards for many moons, but I have my word of the year in the center, and then I separate my goals into different quadrants. So let's talk about first off my word of the year and how that came true. So my word of the year this year was wellness, and that came true in a lot of different ways that I didn't expect. And I feel like I say this every year when I talk about my word of the year, but for particularly in wellness, how it came true was starting to drink a lot less. So I only drink like on special occasions when we're going out or having a party, that kind of thing. So that's helped me with healing my gut. I started off working on my gut, but largely I had a goal of total wellness. So financial wellness, body wellness, spiritual wellness. So I also started journaling more this year. I was more consistent with therapy this year. That kind of leads into my first goal of total wellness. But I would say the largest way that it shifted in an unexpected way for me was cutting out the chronic stress in my life, which largely came from my job and my work as a neuropsychologist. So the position that I work at, the organization I work for, serves the underserved population. And with the underserved population, low socioeconomic status, comes a lot of trauma, unfortunately. And so I was experiencing a lot of compassion fatigue, a lot of vicarious trauma. And at the end of October, I ended up leaving most of my clinical work. I'm still working as a supervisor, supervising interns that are doing neuropsychology and doing some contract work, but by and large, I have cut back tremendously. And I don't know how long that's going to stay that way, but for now, it has been a huge part of my wellness in a very unexpected way. I did not expect to do that this year, but I am happy with my decision because it has just cut down a lot on my stress. So yes, word of the year, wellness. I'm happy with how it turned out. I will say honestly, in vein of radical acceptance, I still have a lot of work to do because it is hard for me to put wellness on the forefront, especially being a mom, putting yourself first. But more so, I will say just I've always been like that because I'm an ambitious person. I prefer to be working. So slowing down to take care of myself has always been a struggle. So I know it's not going to completely change in 1 year, and it's something that I need to continue. So let's move on to my first quadrant. Represents my initial goal, which is total wellness, which I'm putting all my goals kind of vaguely here, but they're more extensively written out in my Vision Goal Planner. But I have pictures on here, tips for gut health, your body is your home, take care of it, picture of myself on the treadmill, Pilates, journaling. So let's talk about it. All of this, lots of it came true. Like I said, I really committed to my journaling habit. I ended the year with a different journal than I started because I'd like to use journals with prompts. I began the year with a devotional journal that I'm still using at night, but in the morning I have incorporated Believing Bigger devotional journal, which is love, like so good. I would say the cardio was kind of up and down. What I learned about that in terms of radical acceptance, the lesson there is when life got hard, I would kind of kick myself when I was down and say, oh, I don't feel like getting on the treadmill, getting on the Peloton because I deserve it. Like I went through grief this year of losing a loved one. My mom got a really harsh diagnosis. And the lesson really was to not kick myself when I'm down. Actually doing that is going to make all those situations worse, make the grief worse and all that kind of stuff. I did extensively do a lot of Pilates this year. I found a studio that I really liked. So that is something that I'm happy with. Nutrition was up and down. Like I said, it was kind of like the kicking myself when I was down with the cardio. And so right now it's getting back on a good track, mainly by force because I got sick, a stomach bug. So I didn't have a choice but to get back on track. But honestly, that was kind of up and down. And again, one of those things that has taken me years to accumulate. So it's going to take me a little bit of time, I think, to change, but I'm on a good track. And gut health wise, I feel like we have some minor things in the family that we can change, but overall we're eating pretty healthy. So healthy mind, healthy body, healthy soul. Pretty happy with that. Let's move on to the next quadrant. This next quadrant kind of combines my total wellness, it looks like, financial wellness, and my family goals. So we have a picture here of a child reading, and that's because I wanted to expand my kids' literacy, teaching them their letter sounds. Layla has done great with it. She's 5 now. She's not in kindergarten yet because of her birthday, but she's reading 3-letter words. She knows all her letter sounds. My son is starting to learn his. He's 3 years old. I'm really happy with that progress. I have a picture of a family in church praying. We didn't find a church home, but we have been good about praying with them at night, taught them their grace recently. Those things have been good. Me and my husband have been doing our budgeting and family meetings on the weekly. I have a picture of me and my husband just to represent our good relationship. Thankfully, we are best friends and that's going well. We've been together like 11 years. And just my own financial wellness of budgeting each week. One of the things that really helped me was writing out my budgeting routine in my process. I always had a routine, but I hadn't written it out. Step-by-step instructions, like from even logging into like the software that I use, which is Xero. So that really helped. So family-wise, of expanding and nurturing my family, I'm really happy with that. We're ending a year with a vacation. We had a couple good vacations this year, which went really well. And kids started skiing, they're in activities. I'm actually really happy with our family goals and our family mission and how we achieved that this year. I would say expanding on my family goals, it would probably just to be, be there more for my mother who's experiencing cancer. I am traveling next week to see her. So of course, continuing to be there for her as well. Just talking more to my family. I have a cousin who's pregnant. That's probably where I could expand on that, but overall I'm happy with that. So moving on to this bottom quadrant here, and I'll put pictures up. This is all about expanding my business. So I have my Mod Ambition newsletter, which has been going great. I really wanted to prioritize my newsletter this year, which did happen. Editing, finding outsourcing for that. It has been an up and down process, but we are finally there at the end of the year in December with someone who's probably watching this now, who I'm really happy with working with. So thank you. Also, I did ads at the beginning of the year. I no longer do ads thanks to YouTube here. I do ads like I was doing them as a low-hanging fruit thing, and I had a goal of making them more profitable, but just talking about my planner here on YouTube organically has gotten me better results actually than the ads that I was doing. But that was a goal at the beginning of the year that I did in January and February. Emails picture here. I also have sales, which is funny because I'm totally outpacing this screenshot I guess I found on Google of Shopify sales, and then like a phone with like all these Shopify notifications, which it's funny, I haven't really looked at this like so in detail. I kind of glance at it when I'm setting my goals, but yes, I've definitely had days where my phone is like that with Shopify sales. So yeah, very happy with this. Found an editor, newsletters prioritized, increasing my sales. Darn happy with that. I'm just kind of looking at this in detail with you guys as I sat down to do it. So that's really nice to see. So then let's look at the last quadrant here. This last quadrant is actually not related to any particular goal that I had for this year. It's more about my personal brand and how I want to show up like aesthetically and like women that inspire me. So it's funny because today, like 2 of the pictures are girls in black turtlenecks with blazers with black, 3 of the pictures, and look what I'm wearing today. So yeah, I would say that's definitely coming true. That's so funny. We have Emma Gerd, who is a very successful founder who I'm inspired by. Definitely leaned into trying to show up in my best founder self and my best entrepreneurial self, stepping more into it as I'm working full time on it now. I have a girl who had this like mid-length hair that I wanted to do this year, and I just did that hairstyle before this, so that's nice. And just leaning more into a modern organic style. So I have this olive tree here, which that actually I think made it onto my second brain. But yeah, this is my vision board. I live a pretty happy life. I'm gonna do a little humble brag. I've been doing this goal achievement and achievement psychology for many years, so I'm very happy with my life, and I really want to keep my goals simple this year because I have a lot of the material things that I want. I really want to lean into personal development and pushing myself as a business person, which I think that I did, and that's kind of what my vision board represents. So you won't see too many material things on there, not to brag, but because I have them, God, not thanks to me, but thanks to God. And I'm happy with the ways personally that I developed. Like I said, the main one that I want to continue probably is like the nutrition, continuing to prioritize taking care of myself, continue to manage the blessings that God has given me and my family, and prioritizing my family, of course. So take a look at your vision board. Remember to look at it with radical acceptance, which just means what are the lessons, even if there are shortcomings, that you can take into the new year. And I do have a video on how to create a vision board that actually works if you want to take a deep dive in my strategies to actually picking the pictures and all that for you to watch next. So I'll put that there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.